John Riel Casimero's name may not ring a bell to the casual Filipino boxing fan. But that might be about to change come Sunday, when the brash 31-year-old takes on arguably his toughest, most high-profile foe to date in Cuban legend Guillermo Rigondeaux for the WBO bantamweight belt. Find out here why Casimero is on the verge of becoming the next big thing in Philippine boxing and how he rose through the ranks to get there. Hello everyone, this is Chip from Game High. Before we go any further, give this video a thumbs up by hitting the like button and subscribe for more content on sports and video gaming. Share this on your social media pages and leave a comment below. John Riel Casimero was born on February 13, 1990 in Ormoc, Leyte. He initially dreamed of becoming a policeman, but was drawn to sports just the same, having played football as a kid. But curiously, the young boy who wanted to be a policeman often got into trouble, usually getting in street fights in his hometown. Then a local boxing trainer spotted a 12-year-old Casimero in yet another street fight, but against three boys all at once. The trainer invited Casimero to try boxing, and the young street fighter proved to be a natural almost immediately. Casimero would go on to have a successful amateur career in the local circuit, even becoming a national amateur boxing champion. All that was left for the hard-hitting prospect was to turn pro. And that's exactly what the Ormoc-born fighter did in 2007, where he fought Lobert Bayo in his first professional prize fight. Casimero won in convincing fashion, starting what turned out to be a 14-fight winning streak, highlighted by 8 impressive stoppages. Just after a year turning pro, an 18-year-old Casimero decisioned Rodel Quilaton to win his first ever title, the then-vacant Philippine Boxing Federation flyweight belt. He added more hardware in his very next fight, moving down to light flyweight and stopping Thailand's Liempech Sor Virapul to win the WBO Asia-Pacific Light Flyweight Championship. Casimero would make his international debut in 2009 in swashbuckling fashion, stopping Colombia's Cesar Cancilla in a fight card held in nearby Nicaragua. That fight to this day remains one of Casimero's most masterful performances, dominating the older, more experienced Cancilla before the referee mercifully stopped the fight in the 11th round.
Eso era lo que tenía que cuidar el colombiano, la riposta del filipino que nuevamente tira el colombiano con otro knockdown.
Tiene ese problema Cancilla.
En el 11º asalto.
Tiene ese problema que se confía demasiado. Ahí está,
terminó la pelea.
No hay nada que hacer, Knockout fulminante.
However, that defining win was quickly followed by back-to-back losses to Mexico's Ramon Garcia Hirales and South Africa's Moruti Metalane, humbling the young upstart and sending him crashing back down. Casimero, though, would immediately work his way back up, winning 5 of his next 7 fights via stoppage. One of those wins, against Argentina's Luis Alberto Lazarte, gained Casimero his first measure of notoriety. Fighting in his hometown of Mar del Plata in Argentina, Lazarte employed dirty roughhousing tactics on the then 22-year-old Filipino, from rabid punches to low blows to some Mike Tyson-like biting for good measure. Perhaps out of frustration, Casimero responded in kind, sneaking in a few rabid punches on his own and a low blow here and there. He then proceeded to beat the Argentine to the pulp, knocking him twice in round 9 and pummeling him even more in round 10 to win the fight via vicious TKO. That's when things got ugly, with fans, presumably Lazartes, attacking Casimero and his team inside the ring in an all-out riot. Lost in that controversial ending was Casimero winning the IBF Junior Flyweight title, which he defended twice before moving up to flyweight in 2015. He immediately fought for the IBF Flyweight belt, challenging Thailand's Amnat Ruenroeng in his home country. Like Lazarte, Ruenroeng fought dirty, throwing rabid punches and low blows, tripping the hard-hitting Pinoy multiple times and wrestling him to the ground every chance he got. Casimero was more measured this time, refusing to return the favor on Ruenroeng's roughhousing, even as the Thai repeatedly got away with foul after foul after foul without getting docked a point. The fighting pride of Leyte lost a disputed decision, and it would send him on a nearly year-long hiatus, calling for a rematch with his Thai conqueror and preparing him for 11 months. The rematch was set on May 2016, and it seemed to mark the debut of a brand new Casimero, brash and self-assured, bordering on the cocky, and a budding showman. Rowan was again up to his old tricks, but Casimero this time fought fire with fire, refusing to retreat and knocking down the Thai boxer with a cracking left hook in the fourth round. Rowan beat the count, but was knocked out for good with another left hook, this time to the solar plexus. It was at this time also when the self-named Quadro Alas did something he had never done before. He taunted Rowan, getting in the face of the falling Thai and just flat out mocking him. Quadro Alas was now a two-time champion, and he was ready to let the world know. Casimero has gone 10 wins and 1 loss in his last 11 fights, the only stain coming against countryman Jonas Sultan in an all-Pinoy headliner in Cebu City. Since then, Quadro Alas has been a freight train, stopping all 6 opponents in dominating fashion. His last 2 wins, which are third-round TKOs against Duke Micah and Zolani Tieti, have been particularly impressive, underscoring a fighter seemingly entering his athletic prime at the age of 31. The now heavily tattooed Casimero was supposed to fight Nonito the Filipino Flash Donaire this August 14, in what would have been an explosive all-action fight between 2 of the bantamweight division's hardest hitters. Unfortunately, the scheduled bout was scrapped, in part due to issues about drug testing, and in part due to Casimero's incessant WWE-style trash-talking that sometimes crossed the proverbial line. Casimero, who infamously did one-handed push-ups after beating Micah, didn't have to wait long for another opponent, with former Donaire tormentor Guillermo Rigondeaux stepping up on short notice to face the cocksure 3-division world champion. Like Donaire, Rigondeaux has quite the resume, with 2 Olympic gold medals and world titles in a super bantamweight division to boot. He is also the reigning WBA bantamweight belt holder with a sparkling 20-1 win-loss record. His only loss against fellow amateur legend Vasil the Matrix Lomachenko. Quadro Alas, for all his achievements so far, has not fought anyone in the caliber of the legendary Cuban. That means a win over Rigondeaux is sure to catapult Quadro Alas into the sports elite and set him up for bigger fights, including one against the Japanese monster Naoya Inoue, who is currently the unified bantamweight champion and has been a Casimero target for over 2 years now. But Casimero can't look past the veteran from Cuba, who at 40 is still a formidable adversary. One thing going for the Filipino, though, is Rigondeaux's willingness to engage this time, a stark departure from the safety-first, move-out-of-danger style he has employed for most of his career. This only bodes well for the Filipino slugger, whose winning formula is to stalk his adversaries and unload a barrage. Getting past a name fighter would get fans' attention, and that is exactly what Casimero is looking to accomplish come Sunday. And with his all-action, fan-friendly style and colorful personality, boxing fans will have no choice but to take notice of this blonde bomber from the Philippines. A lot is riding for Casimero in his next fight, which suffice to say is his golden opportunity to move out of the foreboding shadow cast by one Manny Pacquiao. Now at 42, the Pac-Man remains the biggest thing in Philippine boxing today, but is quite possibly ready to hang up his gloves in the near future. Put simply, a win on Sunday will push Quadro Alas into rarefied air as Pacquiao's heir apparent. This is why fans can expect Casimero to be at his very best against a boxing savant like Rigondeaux, because losing to a wily 40-year-old will tarnish the Filipino's legacy and make it harder for him to stake his claim as the country's next big thing in boxing. Do you think Casimero has what it takes to score a victory against one of boxing's elite in spite of Rigo's age? Share your thoughts in the comment section and let others know about it. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and so check out our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast called The Game High Podcast. Until then, fight fans, stay safe and see you around.